The truth has a strange power. Sometimes it frees people. Sometimes it destroys them. And in this case, the truth turned a quiet man into a killer. What you're about to hear is a story about jealousy, lies, and one terrible moment when a man realized the truth he had been avoiding for years. Ethan Caldwell walked into his bedroom and saw his wife with another man. For months, he had suspected something was wrong. The late phone calls, the quiet messages, the strange moments when Ava seemed distracted. In Ethan's mind, all the pieces already formed a story of betrayal. So when he pushed open that bedroom door and saw a stranger standing near his wife, his heart exploded with anger. The room went silent. Ava's face turned pale. The stranger slowly stood up, raising his hands slightly as if trying to calm the situation. Ethan's voice was cold and sharp. "Who is he?" Ava tried to speak, but the words struggled to come out. The stranger looked at Ethan carefully, studying his face. "My name is Lucas," the man said calmly. But Ethan wasn't interested in introductions. His mind had already decided the truth. "So this is what's been going on," he said bitterly. Ava quickly stepped forward. "Ethan, please listen." But Ethan laughed angrily. Listen to what? The excuses. Lucas glanced at Ava, realizing that Ethan had misunderstood the situation completely. "This isn't what you think," Lucas said. Those words only made Ethan more furious. "That's exactly what people say when they get caught." Ava began shaking. "Ethan, please, he came here to talk to you." Lucas picked up a folder from the small table beside the bed. "I came to tell you the truth," he said. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "What truth?" Lucas opened the folder slowly. Inside were documents, photographs, and old letters. But Ethan didn't look at them. His anger was already louder than reason. Lucas took a deep breath. "Our father is the same man." The sentence floated in the room like a sudden storm. For a moment Ethan simply stared. Then he laughed. Not a joyful laugh. A bitter, mocking one. "You expect me to believe that," he said. Lucas kept his voice calm. "My father told me before he died. He had another family years ago. You're my brother." Ava nodded quickly. "He showed me the documents earlier. Ethan, it's real." But Ethan felt something burning inside him. Humiliation, suspicion, fury. All the months he spent imagining Ava's betrayal had finally found a target. And he refused to let that target disappear. "This is a lie," Ethan said. Lucas stepped closer and held out the photographs. "You can look for yourself." Ethan didn't even glance at them. Instead, he turned toward Ava. "You really thought this story would work?" Ava's eyes filled with tears. "It's not a story." Lucas spoke again, still trying to remain calm. "We can do a DNA test if you want. I only came here because I wanted to meet my brother." But Ethan's mind was no longer listening. When anger takes control, logic becomes a distant whisper. Ethan grabbed a heavy wrench from his work bag near the door. Ava screamed instantly. "Ethan, stop." Lucas stepped back slightly, raising his hands. "Calm down," he said. But Ethan had already crossed the line where calm thinking disappears. The room exploded into chaos. Lucas tried to defend himself, but Ethan's rage had made him reckless and strong. Within moments, the struggle ended. Lucas collapsed onto the floor. The room became quiet again. The wrench slipped from Ethan's hand and hit the floor with a dull sound. Ava stood frozen, trembling. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then Ava slowly walked toward the folder Lucas had brought. Her hands were shaking as she opened it. She picked up the photographs. Then she placed them directly into Ethan's hands. This time he looked. One photo showed his father standing beside a younger woman, holding a small baby. Another showed the same man years later with a teenage boy. Letters written in familiar handwriting explained everything. A relationship that had been hidden. A child that had been kept secret. Ethan's breathing became heavy. He looked down at the man lying motionless on the floor. Lucas Mercer, the stranger he had attacked. The stranger who had come searching for family. His brother. The truth finally reached Ethan's mind. But it arrived too late. Neighbors had already heard Ava screaming. Within minutes, flashing red and blue lights filled the street outside the house. Police officers rushed inside. They found Ethan sitting on the floor, staring blankly ahead, Ava crying uncontrollably beside him, and Lucas lying still in the middle of a room. Ethan didn't fight when the officers placed handcuffs on his wrists. He barely spoke during the entire arrest. The only thing he kept repeating quietly was the same sentence. I didn't know. I didn't know. The investigation that followed revealed the full story. Lucas Mercer had spent years searching for Ethan. Their father had kept his past hidden for decades. Only before dying did he confess the truth to Lucas. Lucas never wanted money or anything from Ethan. He only wanted to meet him, to see if they could build a relationship as brothers. DNA testing later confirmed everything Lucas had said. The two men shared the same father. Lucas had traveled hundreds of miles to meet the family he never knew. Instead, he met violence. Months later, the courtroom was filled with people wanting to hear the outcome of the shocking case. Neighbors sat quietly in the back. Reporters waited with notebooks ready. Ava sat silently, her eyes fixed on the floor. Ethan stood before the judge, looking smaller than he once did. During the trial, prosecutors explained how suspicion and anger had slowly poisoned Ethan's thinking. Witnesses described how quickly the situation escalated. Police officers presented the photographs and documents Lucas had brought that night. The evidence left little doubt about what happened. Finally, the judge looked directly at Ethan. Why did you attack him? The courtroom became silent. Ethan lifted his head slowly. His voice was quiet. I thought he was lying. He paused, swallowing hard. I thought it was just a story to cover something else. The judge waited. Ethan looked down at his hands. Then he said the words that would echo through the courtroom. I couldn't handle the truth. Today, Ethan Caldwell is serving a long prison sentence. Ava left the town shortly after the trial and never returned. The house where everything happened was eventually sold, but many neighbors still remember the night police lights filled the quiet street. And Lucas Mercer, the man who only wanted to meet his brother, became a tragic reminder of how quickly anger can destroy lives. Because sometimes the most dangerous moment in a person's life is not when they hear the truth. It's when they refuse to believe it. And by the time Ethan Caldwell finally understood the truth standing in front of him, his life had already been destroyed forever. Anger can destroy lives in seconds. A moment of uncontrolled anger can lead to decisions that cannot be undone, and one action can change many lives forever. Always listen before reacting. Sometimes the truth sounds strange or unbelievable at first, but taking time to listen and understand can prevent tragic mistakes. Suspicion without proof is dangerous. When people allow jealousy or suspicion to control their thoughts, they may begin to believe things that are not true. Communication is very important in relationships. Honest conversations between partners and family members can prevent misunderstandings that grow into serious conflicts. One decision can change a life forever. Many crimes happen in just a few seconds, but the consequences can last a lifetime. Violence never solves problems. No matter how serious a situation feels, choosing violence only makes everything worse. Thinking before acting can save many years of regret. A few seconds of patience can protect lives and prevent irreversible mistakes.